Hey, all you cool cats and kittens, welcome back. This is Carrie, your DNA geek in a DNA Geek Crafts. I've got a couple things for you today. We're going to do some kitchen chemistry, um, but and of course I'll have a whip update. But first, I wanted to just take a second to be serious. Um, I noticed after the last video that I posted, I lost a noticeable number of subscribers. And granted, I have a small enough channel that noticeable is a relative term and not a huge amount of people. Um, so just wanted to take a minute to talk about what this channel is and what it might not be. I had planned to write this down so that you didn't get a lot of my normal and ahs, but I decided I'd rather just speak from the heart. Um, and of course, I debated even doing this because those people have unsubscribed and they did it in the way that I'd prefer. This isn't an airport. You don't need to announce your departure. But please announce your arrival because I'd love to say hi to you. I couldn't help but notice that the timing of these unsubscribes came right after I mentioned Black Lives Matter. And I know that a lot of people in the community, I've read in some groups where they talk about what they like about Flosstubes and what they don't. I know a lot of people, it's just the stitch. I don't really care to hear about your personal life. I don't really care to hear about your opinions. And that's fine. That said, that's not necessarily going to be what this channel is. Because I don't really think that you can separate that. My opinions, my beliefs, who I am as a person, those all influence the choices that I make in what projects that I work on, how I do them, and I know occasionally I try to give you recommendations. I know we're all always looking for interesting things to listen to or watch while we're knitting or cross-stitching or otherwise crafting. And I try to give those to you, but those are also going to be slanted towards the things that interest me and the things that I feel strongly about. So those things are going to show up here. And if you don't like that, sorry, not sorry. Like I said, it's just my opinion that those things cannot separate. I largely try to keep this to being focused on my work, but those things are going to bleed through, and I'm occasionally going to talk about them. Especially when you get to something I feel really strongly about, like the current pandemic situation or Black Lives Matter. I think I've made my opinion on both of those clear. In passing, I don't dwell on them, but I do mention things like that. So you're going to hear it. I don't expect you to agree with me. I don't expect you to like what I'm going to say. I hope that you respect it. And I hope that it doesn't drive you away from watching my channel. But I'm not going to apologize for it. So if that sounds like this might not be for you, then by all means, there's the unsubscribe button. I will miss you. But this may not be the place that you want to be. So, yeah, I just wanted to say that. I don't necessarily know if it was necessary. Boy, I'm not speaking well today. Because like I said, the people that I obviously bothered are already gone, but I just wanted to let you know it's probably not a one-time thing. And I'm not going to sit here and rant about things that are going on in the world and things that bother me, but they do color the way that I work, and the things that are going on in my life affect the projects I work on, and the things that I choose. It also affects the media I consume, which is going to affect the recommendations that I give to you. So, for what it's worth, that's that. Alright, now let's get on to this and have some fun. Like I said, the first thing I'm going to do, for those of you who are cross-stitchers, this is not really a cross-stitch learning day. it's more of a yarn arts. Right now I just knit, so it'll be labeled as knitting, but it's actually working with the yarn itself. We're gonna do some Kool-Aid dyeing. We're back into the kitchen. But, so it could also be used for crochet or anything else that you would use yarn for. I thought about doing some embroidery floss, but it turns out the composition of the embroidery floss doesn't really lend itself to this particular type of dyeing. So it's pretty much all knit after this point. So I'm going to do the whip update first, so that if you're not interested in that, you can go ahead and pop on out and get on with your day, and thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. But if you are interested in that, then you'll be able to stick around. The first thing, I have a little bit of a stash update. There is also one in the video of the dyeing, but I had a few things that have come in since I made that portion of the video that I wanted to share with you. I have size 5 circular knitting needles now. I have a project in mind for this, so that's why the specific size that I ordered, but they're here. And finally, my fabric of the month from Be Stitch Me came, and oh my gosh, you guys, it's gorgeous. Oh, you've got to see this. I was hoping it would come before I filmed, so I was super excited when I opened the mailbox yesterday, and there it was. The fabric is called Hibiscus. Look at this. I don't know if you're going to be able to see the colors very well because the light in here is not good. But it's a blue and purple and pink. Oh, you can see the colors. They're a little bit lighter than it appears on the screen. But like this blue, purple, pink, yellow. Oh, it's gorgeous. I love it, love it, love it, love it. And I can't wait to find something to work on it. So there's that. So that's my stash update. I'm trying not to spend money. It's not going as well as I'd like, because stash. But yeah, that's not true. I also bought a new pattern, but that's part of my whip update. So, whip update. I'm missing one. Just a minute. Okay. So first, the new pattern I bought, which I've actually started working on but haven't actually put a needle to fabric yet. And you might ask how? Well, it is a birth announcement. So, it's a Harry Potter themed birth announcement for a friend of mine. And the reason I haven't put needle to thread yet is because I'm trying to chart out all of the personalizing. Come back here. So yeah, the name, the date, the weight, the time, the length, the birthplace. I have to personalize and chart out all of those. And for being a science geek, math is not necessarily my strong point, so it's taking me a while. I've had to start over a couple times. But that's going to be one of my priority projects. So I try to work on it a little bit every day or two. I started a new project, and I don't have very much done at all. About 100 stitches. You can't really see, but it's pretty much just 2 different shades of green. I really need to start filming these in the evening when I have better light. But that is the start of this. And it's just barely just the edge of the face here. But yeah, this is a gift I'm working on. Unofficially, I'm hoping it'll be done by Christmas. Officially, I'm not putting that pressure on myself because we know where I ended up with that in 2019. So that's done. I made a little bit more progress on Disney. I got the You Can Do It all finished in the Faith and Trust. I've started Pixie Dust in silver metallic. Everything everyone's ever said about working with metallics is true. They are the devil's nose hair. They are impossible to work with, and it's going to be a really long time. It's going to take me a really long time to stitch Pixie Dust right here in silver metallic. But we'll get there eventually. So I expect to spend time on this, but don't expect to see a lot of progress on it in the near future. And just in case you need a reminder, this is what this one's going to look like when it's done, although I flipped the colors, so instead of black and white, it's going to be, it's going to be white on black, and then I'm doing like different colors for some of the different words, like Faith and Trust are in Peter Pan green. I'm excited to see how that one develops, because it's really one of the more experimental, like choosing my own colors thing that I've ever really gotten into. And most of those are going to be in Etoile, which is also going to add a little bit of sparkle because it's Disney and it needs sparkle. I am missing another one. Oh my gosh. It's like I didn't even plan well. Okay. This is another gift without a deadline on it. We've seen this one before. This is the sunflowers. It's definitely starting to look like a sunflower now. I love the look of the opaleta, but it is a pain in the butt to stitch on, at least for me. It's not easy on my eyes at all. So it's really slow going. I feel like my stitches all look twisted no matter what I do, because I'm having a hard time finding the holes, so they're kind of varying sizes when I don't catch the hole exactly right. But from this far away it looks pretty, and I really want the person that I'm giving it to love it, and I think it'll turn out okay, and I just need to have some more patience with it. All of these projects that I'm showing you, by the way, are priority projects. They're projects that are gifts, so I kind of want to keep working on them steadily so that they don't take forever and I get them out eventually. None of them actually has a specific deadline, except for the one I'm going to show you last, which we know is way, almost 6 months overdue. Which is why I'm not putting deadlines on any of the other ones, because I learned my lesson. Okay. So, I did some more work on Grimm's Fairy Tale Stitch Along, in which I am still in February. So we're still working on the Princess and the Frog, but I have got pretty much everything done except I'm working on the floral border here. So I just have to finish these flowers. I think there's 2 more down here at the bottom. Then there's some of this darker pink on the edges of them, and then the vine. And then I'll be able to start on March, which is Hansel and Gretel, and is right up here. So just a little progress on this one, but this one kind of does have a deadline. This is, I think I've mentioned before, is for my niece. I would love to be able to give it to her for Christmas, and since the final chapter should release on December 1st, I theoretically could do it as long as I catch up, which is why I'm bumping this one up to the priority. I have currently 5 projects that are on priority. I have the one, which is the one that I work on every day that I stitch no matter what. I have to do 100 stitches on that before I can do anything else. And then these other ones, if I don't have something that I'm really feeling like working on, I try to rotate through those as I go. So you'll see those a lot more than some of the other ones. The other ones I'll just work on, when the mood strikes me, and I can't, or I absolutely cannot handle working on one of the I'm just going to keep calling them priority so that I have a term for them. So on days when I just so sick of those 5 projects that I just can't do anymore. I have the wheel to pick from my random ones. So you'll see those pop up occasionally, but not nearly as frequently as these 5 are going to show up until they're done. That being said, I think that next week we are going to have a finish on Natsu. I adjusted the Q-snap, so you can't see the top of his hair anymore, but it's all done. But yes, I finally got all of this white in the scarf done. Hooray! I've got a few more spaces you can see here of the gray to finish the shading on the scarf. What I'm doing, I think I mentioned last week, I do some fill and then I do some outline with black. I'm very, very close to having him completely outlined, and then it will just be a matter of stitching in the fill. And like I said, things are moving fast now because I'm on it, I'm motivated, I can see the end, and I wouldn't be surprised if next week I have a finish to show you on this one. I really hope so, because I feel so bad that this person has waited so long for this. She doesn't care, but I do. So, we're in the home stretch. And last but not least, the one that I show every time I show a whip update, and that is my temperature stitch along. Again, this is can be found in the Enablers cross stitch group. It was designed by Linda Hardy. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I just love the way that it's turning out. So here we are up through June 15th. So we're almost to halfway through the year. As you can see, the colors have lightened up a little bit. We don't have that bright, super bright orange right now. That's fine with me because it means the weather's been in the high 70s, low 80s. It's been absolutely gorgeous here. I've worked with the sunny, the color for the sunny weather, I think more in the last couple weeks than I did all through the first part of the year. And I'm in love with the way this is turning out. And the cool thing is, oh, hello, you can see through there. Wait a minute. Yes, that's right. When I think in the next week we'll get to the next part of the design element. I think it starts kind of right in here. So yes, progress, 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 and I'm constantly saying this is the only stitch along I'm caught up on, and it will probably stay that way for a good long time. So those are my whips for the week. I don't have my webinar shawl to show you because I really only got like two or three rows done on that. My knitting time was taken up with the kitchen chemistry that you're about to see, and then I didn't have any webinars. I am no longer working from home. Hooray! I love it. Back in the lab the entire week. I don't have to try to work from home, which is great because the last day that I had to work from home, not only was I trying to troubleshoot a problem at work, but they were also completely redoing the pavement in front of my house. So it wasn't the best work environment. But next week I actually do have 2 webinars that are recommended. Even though I don't have to work from home, I will probably work from home for those just because this chair is much more comfortable than having to do it at work. And I can get up and get a snack when I want to. So my boss has given me permission to watch those from home and then come into work after they're done because they actually start before the beginning of my work day since I'm still working nights for a few more weeks. So yeah, no progress on the webinar shawl this week, but I'm going to have 8 hours of webinars next week, so you should actually see some good progress there. And that's it. I'm going to cut to my kitchen chemistry experiments for the week. These aren't mine, obviously. I don't come up with anything. I will post the link to the actual tutorial that I used in the show description. So if you want to see someone do it right, that's what you want to watch. If you want to watch someone fumble through it and try to figure it out as they go, here you go. So I recently joined Wright, and when I got my first order, I was so excited because I wanted to see what gorgeous color they'd sent me. I had really liked some of the colors that I'd seen in some of the previous boxes, and so that's why I decided to join. And I opened the box and I have completely colorless yarn. Well, turns out that the month I joined, the month of May, was a blank canvas. And what I'm supposed to do is dye this yarn myself. Now they sent me, along with the yarn, a couple packets of Kool-Aid, interestingly enough, and the address for a tutorial on how to dye it. So this is what I have to work with, and we're going to go ahead and try dyeing this Kool-Aid. Now I went ahead and bought a couple other colors, a couple flavors of Kool-Aid because I wanted to use some more colors than this. So yeah, let's see what happens here. So the first thing I'm going to do is these have to be soaked for at least an hour. So I'm gonna get them in some water and get them soaking, and we'll be back. So there is my yarn soaking, and we'll be back to that. Well guys, I've got a little bit of bad news. I just opened my curbside pickup order, and it turns out that some of the colors of Kool-Aid, some of the flavors of Kool-Aid that I wanted to use were out of stock, and so I wasn't able to get everything I needed for the speckled dye that I planned to do. So I will order those again. I'm not gonna run out to the store and run into the store because there are just not enough people wearing masks, and I don't want to, so I'm not going to. So we'll do the speckled some other day, and instead we'll just do 2 colors of solid today. So I'm going to bring you over here to the stove, and you'll be able to see that our yarn has been soaking for a while. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to take it out and wring it out so it will be damp but not dripping, and I'm going to get the pots prepared for the Kool-Aid. So I'll check back with you in a second. And here's our wool wrung out and stretched out. I guess I should have mentioned this is 75% merino and 25% nylon. From what I understand from my rudimentary research on dyes, it needs to be a protein-based fiber for this to work. So we're going to do 2 different colors today. I'm going to make a purple and I'm going to make a red, and let's get started with that. It occurs to me as I'm doing this that I should probably thank you guys, because my kitchen is never cleaner than when I'm getting ready to film in here. So kitchen chemistry crafting is a lot of fun, and it's good for my housekeeping skills. So anyway, here we go. I think this is going to be the purple. I can just get this open with one hand. Still need to get that GoPro. Oh, just a minute. There we go, that's better. Again, this is going to be the purple up in the front. Even with 2 hands, I can't seem to open a simple envelope. So put that in there. Stir it to dissolve. This is cold water, by the way. We have not heated it yet. We will need to because that will help the dye set. But for right now, we are just basically making Kool-Aid. Here goes the cherry. So here we go. We have cherry Kool-Aid over here, grape Kool-Aid over here, and now let's get the yarn in there. All right, moment of truth here. Into the purple and into the red. Get them all the way in there. Here we go. There's the red. There's the purple. Now what we're going to do is turn on the burners. The goal is not to get this boiling. We need it to be a nice slow heat, kind of like a frog in boiling water, where it just gradually warms up and never actually gets to boiling. So we want it to slowly heat up over the course of 20 minutes, and we'll come back in 20 minutes and see what it looks like. Okay, here we go. Our 20 minutes is up, and let's see if I did this right. If I did this right, this water should be clear. Woohoo! All right, let's look at the purple. Might be a little blue tinted, but I did my deal. So that means all the color has been absorbed by the yarn and is no longer in the water for both of these. That's kind of a pretty color. That is cherry Kool-Aid. Here is grape Kool-Aid. This one definitely has some more variegation to it. But yeah, so we're gonna turn off the stove and we're gonna let these cool, give them a quick rinse and let them dry, and we'll see what they look like after that. All right, here they are. I really love the way this purple variegated, where it's got the lighter and then the darker. Yeah, I think that's gorgeous and I can't wait to use it for something. And then the red is a little bit more solid. There is some variegation, you can't see it too well. But yeah, they are done. And oh, I just love this, I can't wait to use it. They're still drying right now, but if they look significantly different when they get done drying, I'll make sure to give you one last picture of them before I put this up. Otherwise, that's it for our dyeing adventure today. And there you have it. I hope that that was interesting. I hope it gave you maybe some fun ideas for things to do on your own. Like I said, things never work out the way you want, so I didn't get to do one project that I wanted to do. That will go ahead and just be pushed to a later date, and we'll be doing some more Kool-Aid dyeing sometime in the near future. In the meantime, next week is an off week, so won't be trying anything officially. It's not a week to try anything new, but I'm going to try something new. What it is, I guess you'll have to wait and see. Anyway, I hope you have a great week. I hope you stay safe and stay healthy. And feel free to drop a line, say hi, likes, comments, subscribes. You know where the buttons are. And I will see you later. Ciao.